The school hallway was alive with the usual chaos, students rushing to their next class, lockers slamming shut, and voices blending into a constant murmur. Amara moved through it all like a shadow, unnoticed and unbothered. She kept her head down, headphones in, lost in her own world. To most, she was just another face in the crowd, the quiet girl who didn't speak much, who didn't draw attention. But that day, everything changed in a way no one expected. Without warning, a firm hand grabbed the collar of her jacket, yanking her backward. The sudden force made her stumble, and she turned sharply to face the source of the aggression. Marcus, the school's infamous bully, stood there with a cruel smirk, flanked by his usual sidekicks, Darnell and Trey. Their eyes sparkled with the thrill of control, the kind that comes from picking on someone who seems vulnerable. "What's the matter, Johnson? Scared?" Marcus taunted, his voice loud enough to draw the attention of everyone nearby. The hallway seemed to freeze as whispers spread quickly. Students stopped in their tracks, some watching with curiosity, others with silent judgment. The air was thick with tension. Amara's heart raced. She felt the weight of the crowd's gaze, the sting of humiliation creeping in like a slow poison. For months, Marcus and his friends had targeted her, mocking her clothes, her quiet nature, her interests. She had tried to ignore them, to stay focused on her studies and her Taekwondo training. But this moment was different. This time, she was ready. What happens when the quiet girl you underestimate turns out to be a red belt in Taekwondo? Have you ever been trapped in a moment where fear threatens to take over, where you feel powerless to defend yourself or speak up? Maybe you faced a situation where standing your ground seemed impossible, where the odds were stacked against you. This story is about that moment, the one where everything changes, where strength emerges from the most unexpected place. Amara's story isn't just about a fight in a school hallway. It's about resilience, courage, and the quiet power that comes from believing in yourself when the world tries to tell you otherwise. It's about standing tall when the pressure is on, and finding your voice when silence feels safer. As Marcus tightened his grip, Amara's mind flashed back to the countless hours she had spent at Master Kim's Taekwondo Academy. She remembered his words: control, calm, confidence. The discipline she had learned wasn't just about physical strength, it was about mastering her emotions, staying composed under pressure, and knowing her own worth. With a swift, practiced move, Amara twisted her wrist and broke free from Marcus's grasp. The bullies stumbled back, their smirks replaced by shock. The crowd fell silent, eyes wide with surprise. For the first time, Amara wasn't just the quiet girl in the background. She was someone who commanded respect. This moment was more than a simple act of self-defense. It was a turning point, a declaration that she would no longer be invisible, no longer a target for cruelty. It was the start of a journey that would inspire others to find their own strength, to stand up against bullying, and to embrace the power within themselves. If you believe in standing up for what's right, if you believe that courage can come from the most unexpected places, then this story is for you. Hit that like button and subscribe to join us on this journey of empowerment and hope. Share your thoughts in the comments. Have you ever faced a moment where you had to find strength you didn't know you had? Stay with us, because Amara's story is just beginning, and it's one you won't want to miss. Lincoln High was a sprawling campus, home to over 1,000 students from all walks of life. Its brick walls held the laughter, the struggles, and the dreams of countless teenagers. For many, it was a place of friendship and discovery. For Amara, it was a place where she excelled in her classes but felt invisible in the crowd. She was known as the quiet girl, the one who didn't raise her hand often, who preferred to listen rather than speak. Teachers admired her focus and dedication, but her classmates barely noticed her. She wasn't part of any social circle, nor did she try to be. Instead, she found comfort in her books and music, creating a world where she could be herself without judgment. Despite her academic success, Amara often felt like an outsider. The hallways were filled with groups laughing and sharing secrets, but she moved through them like a shadow, unnoticed and untouched. This invisibility was both a shield and a burden. It kept her safe from some attention, but left her vulnerable to others. At Lincoln High, Marcus, Darnell, and Trey were well-known names. They weren't just popular, they were feared. Marcus, the tallest and most imposing, led the group with a mix of confidence and cruelty. His presence alone could silence a noisy hallway. Darnell was the loudmouth, always ready with a cutting remark or a mocking laugh. Trey, the smallest, followed closely, eager to prove himself and earn his place. Together, they ruled their corner of the school with a mix of bravado and intimidation. They enjoyed the power they held over others, especially those who didn't fit their idea of normal. Amara, with her quiet demeanor and refusal to engage, became an easy target. Their bullying wasn't always physical. Often, it was the words that stung the most. They mocked her clothes, her quietness, and her interests. Too serious, weird, little ninja girl, these were some of the names they called her. The teasing was relentless, a constant reminder that she didn't belong. At first, Amara tried to ignore the taunts. She told herself that their words didn't matter, that she was stronger than their insults. She buried herself in her studies and her Taekwondo training, finding strength in the discipline and focus it gave her. But the bullying didn't stop. It grew more frequent, more pointed. Marcus and his friends would block her path in the hallways, whispering cruel jokes just loud enough for her to hear. They would snatch at her backpack or tug at her jacket, testing her limits. Each incident left a mark. Not just on her body, but on her spirit. The constant pressure wore her down, making her question her worth. She began to dread going to school, the place where she should have felt safe and supported. Inside, Amara struggled with a storm of emotions. Fear, anger, sadness, and confusion swirled together. She wanted to fight back, to show the bully she wasn't weak. But she also feared the consequences, retaliation, isolation, or worse. Her silence became a shield, but it also deepened her loneliness. She felt trapped between wanting to be seen and the safety of staying quiet. The burden of carrying this pain alone was heavy. At home, her mother Latoya noticed the change. Amara was quieter than usual, sometimes flinching at sudden noises or avoiding eye contact. Latoya's heart ached to see her daughter shrinking away. One evening, Latoya sat Amara down, her voice soft but steady. "What's going on at school, baby?" she asked gently. Amara hesitated, the words caught in her throat. But finally, she opened up about the bullying, the names, the teasing, the fear. Latoya listened carefully, her eyes filled with concern but also determination. "You're stronger than you know," Latoya said firmly. "And you don't have to face this alone. We'll find a way through this together." That conversation was a turning point. For the first time in a long while, Amara felt seen. Not just as the quiet girl at school, but as a daughter, a fighter, and someone worthy of protection and respect. Latoya encouraged Amara to keep talking, to share her feelings and fears. She reminded her daughter of the strength she had shown in other parts of her life, especially in Taekwondo, where discipline and confidence were more than just words. Amara began to realize that her silence didn't have to be permanent. She could find her voice, and with it, the power to change her story. Have you or someone you know ever faced bullying like Amara's? How did you handle it? Share your experiences in the comments below. Your story might help someone else find their strength. Amara's journey with Taekwondo began when she was just 10 years old, a decision made by her mother, Latoya, who wanted more than just physical strength for her daughter. Latoya understood the world Amara was growing up in, a world where challenges and obstacles were part of daily life. She wanted Amara to have tools that would help her navigate those challenges with confidence and dignity. One summer afternoon, Latoya took Amara to a small martial arts academy in their neighborhood. The building was modest, with faded posters on the walls and mats that had seen years of practice. The academy was run by Master Kim, a Korean immigrant who had earned respect not only for his skill but for his dedication to teaching values beyond fighting. Latoya's words to Amara that day were simple but powerful. "I want you to be strong, not just in your body, but in your heart and mind." Master Kim's approach to Taekwondo was different from what many expected. He wasn't just teaching punches and kicks. He was teaching discipline, respect, and self-control. His classes were rigorous, demanding focus and effort, but they were also lessons in character. From the very first class, Amara learned that Taekwondo was about balance between strength and patience, action and thoughtfulness. Master Kim often reminded his students, true power comes from within, and it is controlled by the mind. The academy became a sanctuary for Amara. It was a place where she could channel her energy, learn to focus, and build resilience. The drills were tough, pushing her limits physically, but they also taught her to stay calm under pressure. She learned to breathe through discomfort, to center herself, and to respect both her own body and those of others. Amara's progress in Taekwondo was steady and marked by determination. She attended classes multiple times a week, practicing forms, sparring, and conditioning. Each belt she earned was a milestone, a symbol of her growing skill and commitment. The red belt, which she earned at 15, was a significant achievement. It represented advanced skill and readiness to take on the challenge of the black belt. But for Amara, the belt was more than just a rank. It was a symbol of years of hard work, discipline, and personal growth. Her training shaped not only her body, but her mind and spirit. She learned to face challenges head-on, to remain composed in difficult situations, and to believe in her own strength. The lessons she absorbed went far beyond physical techniques. They were lessons in resilience, confidence, and self-respect. The true value of Amara's training lay in the mental and emotional lessons she learned. Taekwondo taught her about respect, not just for others, but for herself. It showed her the importance of patience, the power of perseverance, and the necessity of self-control. When faced with bullying at school, these lessons became her foundation. Instead of reacting with fear or anger, Amara found a calm center within herself. She understood that true strength was not about fighting harder, but about staying grounded and confident. Master Kim's teachings helped her see that strength was as much about the mind and heart as it was about the body. This understanding gave her the courage to stand up for herself in ways that surprised even her. Discipline was a cornerstone of Amara's training. Every class required her to show up on time, respect her instructors and peers, and push through physical and mental challenges. This discipline spilled over into other parts of her life, her schoolwork, her relationships, and her response to adversity. Focus was another key lesson. In Taekwondo, a moment of distraction could mean failure or injury. Amara learned to block out distractions, to concentrate fully on the task at hand. This ability to focus helped her in school and, most importantly, in moments of conflict. The day Marcus snatched her collar was a test of everything Amara had learned. In that instant, her years of training kicked in. She didn't panic or freeze. Instead, she moved with control and precision, breaking free with a swift, practiced motion. Her calm response caught the bullies off guard. They had expected fear or submission, but instead, they faced a young woman who knew her worth and wasn't afraid to defend it. This moment was the result of countless hours spent in the academy, learning not just how to fight, but how to carry herself with confidence and grace. It was a reminder that the greatest battles are often won before they begin, in the mind and spirit. Taekwondo also helped Amara build confidence that extended beyond physical ability. She learned to trust herself, to believe in her decisions, and to face challenges with a steady heart. This confidence became a shield against the bullying she faced, allowing her to stand firm even when others doubted her. Her involvement in the academy also introduced her to a community of support. Master Kim and her fellow students became a second family, encouraging her growth and celebrating her achievements. This sense of belonging was crucial in helping Amara overcome feelings of isolation. Have martial arts or other disciplines helped you find strength in difficult times? Share your experiences in the comments below. Your story could inspire someone else to keep going. The school hallway was alive with the usual rush of students moving between classes. Amara walked steadily, her backpack resting lightly on one shoulder, headphones tucked beneath her jacket, music softly playing in her ears. She kept her eyes forward, focused on the path ahead, hoping to avoid any unwanted attention. But that day, fate had other plans. Without warning, a rough hand shot out and grabbed the collar of her jacket, yanking her backward with a force that made her stumble. The sudden jolt startled her, and she spun around to face the source of the aggression. Standing there was Marcus, the school's notorious bully, his face twisted into a mocking grin. Beside him were Darnell and Trey, his usual companions, their expressions filled with amusement and anticipation. "What's the matter, Johnson?" "Scared," Marcus sneered, his voice loud enough to carry through the hallway. The crowd around them began to slow, whispers spreading quickly as students stopped to watch the unfolding scene. The usual noise of lockers slamming and chatter faded into a tense silence. Students who had been hurrying to class paused, their eyes fixed on the confrontation. Some exchanged uneasy glances, unsure whether to step in or stay back. Others pulled out their phones, eager to capture the moment. The energy in the hallway shifted palpably. What had been an ordinary school day suddenly felt charged with anticipation. Everyone sensed that something significant was about to happen. Amara's heart pounded fiercely in her chest, adrenaline flooding her system. Yet beneath the rush, a surprising calm settled over her. Years of Taekwondo training had prepared her for moments like this, not just physically, but mentally and emotionally. She recalled Master Kim's steady voice, control, calm, confidence. She focused on her breathing, steadying herself despite the fear that threatened to overwhelm her. The tension in her muscles eased as she centered her mind. With practiced precision, Amara twisted her wrist and broke free from Marcus's grip. The sudden move caught the bullies off guard. Marcus, Darnell, and Trey stumbled back, their confident smirks replaced by looks of shock and disbelief. Marcus's eyes narrowed as he processed what had just happened. The usual bravado that had made him feared throughout the school faltered. Darnell and Trey exchanged uncertain glances, their earlier amusement replaced by hesitation. Slowly, the trio began to back away, their posture less aggressive, their confidence shaken. The power dynamic had shifted in an instant. The quiet girl they had underestimated was no longer an easy target. The students who had gathered around began to murmur among themselves. Whispers of surprise and admiration rippled through the crowd. Some nodded in respect, others smiled encouragingly at Amara. Phones were lowered, and the tension in the hallway began to ease. For many, this was the first time they saw Amara not as the quiet girl in the background, but as someone who could stand her ground. In the midst of the crowd's reaction, Amara felt a surge of emotions. The fear that had gripped her for months started to loosen its hold. She felt a newfound strength rising within her, a sense of empowerment that came from standing up for herself. Her voice, steady and clear, cut through the silence. "Leave me alone." It was more than a command. It was a declaration of self-respect and courage. This confrontation was not just a physical struggle, it was a pivotal moment in Amara's life. It marked the point where she reclaimed her power and refused to be defined by fear or silence. The incident sparked conversations throughout the school about bullying, respect, and the hidden strength within each student. Amara's courage became a quiet inspiration, especially to those who had felt powerless. Teachers and students alike began to see her in a new light. The girl who had once been invisible was now a symbol of resilience and quiet strength. If you believe in standing up against bullying and the power of self-defense, share this video to spread awareness. Your support can help others find their strength. The moment the incident in the hallway came to light, the school administration acted swiftly. Principal Harris, a woman respected for her no-nonsense approach and fairness, called Marcus, Darnell, and Trey into her office. The three boys, usually brimming with confidence, now faced a serious conversation about their behavior. Principal Harris listened carefully to the accounts from students, teachers, and staff. She made it clear that bullying was unacceptable and would not be tolerated at Lincoln High. The boys were assigned detention and required to attend counseling sessions designed to address their behavior and its impact on others. They were also warned that any further incidents would result in suspension. But the school's response went beyond punishment. Principal Harris used the incident as a catalyst to reinforce the school's commitment to a safe and respectful environment. Posters promoting kindness, respect, and empathy appeared throughout the hallways. Counselors organized workshops and group discussions to help students understand the effects of bullying and the importance of standing up for one another. This proactive approach sent a strong message. Lincoln High was a place where every student deserved to feel safe and valued. Amara's courage in standing up to the bullies sparked conversations that reached far beyond the immediate incident. Students and teachers began to openly discuss bullying, respect, and the hidden strength that often lies beneath quiet exteriors. In classrooms, teachers encouraged discussions about empathy and the importance of supporting peers. Hallways buzzed with conversations about how to create a more inclusive and supportive school culture. Amara's story became a symbol of resilience and empowerment, inspiring others to find their own voices. These conversations helped shift the school's atmosphere. Students who had once stayed silent began to speak out against mistreatment. The culture of fear and intimidation started to give way to one of understanding and mutual respect. For Amara, the aftermath of the confrontation brought unexpected changes in her social life. The whispers and stares that had once made her feel invisible transformed into nods of respect and smiles of encouragement. Classmates who had previously ignored her began to approach, curious about the girl who had stood up to the bullies. Amara found herself forming new friendships, especially with students who had faced their own struggles and understood what it meant to feel powerless. Together, they created a small but close-knit group that supported one another. This newfound sense of belonging helped Amara feel less alone and more confident in her place at school. She began to participate more in class discussions and school activities, her voice growing stronger with each passing day. At home, Latoya watched her daughter's transformation with a mixture of pride and relief. She had seen the fear and pain that bullying had caused, and now she saw Amara growing stronger and more self-assured. Latoya's support was a constant source of strength for Amara. She encouraged her daughter to share her story and use her experience to help others facing similar challenges. Their late-night conversations became moments of bonding, where they discussed dreams, fears, and the future. Latoya reminded Amara that her strength was not just in her physical abilities but in her heart and mind. This encouragement fueled Amara's determination to keep moving forward, to turn her pain into purpose. Teachers at Lincoln High also played a vital role in Amara's journey. Ms. Ramirez, her English teacher, recognized the power of Amara's experience and encouraged her to write about it. At first, Amara hesitated, unsure if she wanted to relive the painful moments. But as she put her thoughts on paper, she found a new way to process her feelings and inspire others. Ms. Ramirez suggested sharing the story with the school community, and Amara agreed. Her words resonated with many students, sparking empathy and understanding. This act of sharing became a source of healing and empowerment, helping Amara build confidence and find her voice. The months following the incident were a time of significant emotional growth for Amara. She learned to trust herself more, to believe in her worth, and to face challenges with courage. Her experience with bullying and her response to it shaped her into a young woman who understood the importance of resilience and self-respect. Amara's confidence grew not just from standing up to the bullies, but from the support she received from her family, friends, and teachers. She realized that strength was not about being alone, but about knowing when to ask for help and when to stand firm. She began to see herself not as a victim, but as a leader, someone who could inspire others to find their own strength. This shift in perspective gave her a new sense of purpose and direction. The impact of the incident extended beyond the school walls. Amara's story caught the attention of local community leaders and youth organizations dedicated to combating bullying and promoting mental health. Invitations to speak at workshops and community events followed, where Amara shared her experiences and the lessons she had learned. Her message was clear: strength comes in many forms, and everyone has the power to stand up for themselves and others. Through these opportunities, Amara grew into a role model, showing that courage and resilience could transform lives. She began to see her journey as part of a larger mission: to empower others and create safe spaces where young people could thrive. After the confrontation that changed everything, Amara's connection to the Taekwondo Academy deepened in ways she hadn't anticipated. What began as a personal journey to build strength and discipline evolved into a mission to uplift others. She no longer saw herself just as a student, but as a mentor and leader within the academy. Amara began dedicating more time to assisting Master Kim with beginner classes. She especially focused on younger students who were just starting their martial arts journey, many of whom faced challenges similar to her own. She understood the fear and uncertainty that came with being new, the struggle to find confidence in a world that often felt hostile. Her presence became a beacon of encouragement. Young girls who once felt shy or unsure found inspiration in Amara's story and example. She shared openly about her experiences with bullying and how Taekwondo had helped her find strength, not just physically, but mentally and emotionally. Her message was clear: martial arts was about respect, self-control, and inner power, not just fighting. Through her mentorship, Amara helped these students develop not only their skills, but also their self-esteem. She taught them that true strength comes from within and that every person has the power to stand up for themselves and others. Recognizing the broader impact her story could have, Amara took the initiative to organize workshops at her school and in the local community. These workshops combined practical martial arts training with discussions on bullying prevention, mental health, and building resilience. She worked closely with school counselors and community organizations to create safe, supportive environments where students could share their experiences and learn strategies to cope with adversity. The workshops were designed to empower participants with tools to handle difficult situations, both physical and emotional. Amara's approach was holistic. She emphasized that strength was not just about physical ability, but also about resilience, compassion, and the courage to seek help when needed. Her workshops encouraged open dialogue, helping students feel heard and understood. These sessions became a vital resource for many young people, offering them a sense of community and hope. Amara's leadership in these efforts demonstrated her commitment to making a lasting difference beyond the dojo. Amara's story and growing leadership caught the attention of local community leaders and youth organizations dedicated to empowerment and bullying prevention. She was invited to speak at various events, where she shared her journey and the lessons she had learned. At these gatherings, Amara spoke candidly about the challenges she faced, the strength she found through Taekwondo, and the importance of standing up for oneself and others. Her message resonated deeply with young people who saw themselves reflected in her experiences. She encouraged her audience to find their own sources of strength, whether through sports, arts, education, or community involvement. Amara's voice became a beacon of hope and inspiration, reminding others that they were not alone and that their stories mattered. Her speeches often ended with a call to action, urging listeners to support one another and to create safe spaces where everyone could thrive. Through her words, Amara helped foster a culture of empathy and empowerment. Amara's journey revealed a powerful truth: strength is multifaceted. It is rooted in resilience, the ability to recover from setbacks and keep moving forward. It is found in compassion, the willingness to understand and support others. And it is expressed through leadership, the courage to stand up for what is right and to inspire change. Through her actions and words, Amara demonstrated that leadership is accessible to everyone, regardless of background or circumstance. It begins with self-belief and grows through service to others. Her story challenged stereotypes and expanded the definition of strength. It showed that true power comes from within and is amplified when shared with a community. Amara's leadership extended beyond martial arts. She became a role model for young people navigating the complexities of adolescence, bullying, and identity. Her example encouraged others to embrace their own strengths and to use them for positive change. Amara's impact reached far beyond her immediate circle. Her story inspired countless young people who faced bullying, discrimination, or feelings of invisibility. They saw in her a reflection of their own struggles and a path forward. Many reached out to Amara, sharing their experiences and seeking advice. She responded with empathy and encouragement, reminding them that they were not alone and that their voices mattered. Her leadership created a ripple effect, empowering others to stand up, speak out, and support one another. Amara became a symbol of courage, kindness, and resilience. Through social media, community events, and personal connections, Amara's message spread. She helped build networks of support where young people could find strength in each other. Her journey showed that empowerment is not a destination but a continuous process of growth, learning, and giving back. Graduation day at Lincoln High was filled with excitement and hope. Families and friends gathered to celebrate the achievements of the class of 2024. Among the graduates sat Amara, her red belt folded carefully in her bag, a symbol of the journey that had shaped her. When it was her turn to speak, Amara stepped up to the microphone with quiet confidence. Her voice was steady as she addressed the crowd. "Strength isn't just about fighting," she began. "It's about standing up for yourself and others, even when it's hard. It's about resilience, courage, and kindness. My journey with Taekwondo taught me that. It taught me to believe in myself, to face challenges with calm and confidence, and to use my strength to help others." Her words resonated deeply with the audience, many of whom had witnessed her transformation. Amara's story was no longer just her own. It had become a beacon for anyone who had ever felt powerless. Looking back, Amara saw how far she had come. The girl who once felt invisible had found her voice and her power. The challenges she faced had shaped her into a young woman ready to face the future with determination. Her experience with bullying, her dedication to Taekwondo, and the support of her family and community had all played a part in her growth. She realized that strength was not about being the loudest or the toughest. It was about resilience, compassion, and leadership. Amara's aspirations extended beyond graduation. She planned to continue her Taekwondo training and hoped to study psychology, aiming to support other young people dealing with trauma and adversity. Her journey was far from over, but she knew she had the strength to face whatever lay ahead. As we close this story, consider this. What strength lies hidden in the quiet ones around you? The ones who don't always speak up or stand out, but carry battles within themselves. Amara's journey reminds us that beneath every quiet exterior can be a well of strength waiting to be discovered. It challenges us to look deeper, to recognize the courage in others, and to stand up for what is right with grace and determination. If Amara's story moved you, if you believe in the power of resilience and courage, please like this video. Share it with friends and family to spread awareness about bullying and the importance of self-empowerment. Comment below with your own experiences or thoughts. Have you ever faced a moment where you had to find strength you didn't know you had? Your story could inspire someone else. And don't forget to subscribe to Echoes of Grace for more stories that uplift, empower, and remind us all of the strength within. Stay tuned for our next story, where we'll explore another powerful journey of overcoming adversity and finding hope in the face of injustice. Until then, remember, strength comes in many forms, and every voice matters.